Well, we had a theory, and I think many of us had a pet theory that maybe, just maybe, the Flames should start taking penalties rather than drawing penalties. And while that felt like a joke, and of course it couldn't be true, there was the penalty kill to save the day for the Calgary Flames as they beat the Florida Panthers by a final of 3-1. Two of those three goals credited as shorthanded. The power play 0 for 5. Welcome to Afterburner. It's Ryan Pinder, Cami Kepke. Cami.
You just said something nice about the Flames. Look at you go.
I've said many,
growth.
many nice things about the Flames, and that backhanded compliment is just one of a long list. It shouldn't be that way, but my goodness, this penalty kill has been very, very good. I will go look at where they stand in the NHL on the killing part, but it's really not the killing part that is what's made them elite. It's that when you factor in they're quite good at killing and then they're scoring all the time, that's probably what you could probably make a strong case. This is the best penalty kill in the NHL. They're scoring a lot.
Oh man, we did some math. I mean, obviously on the season as a whole, 11 power play goals, 8 shorthanded goals now, which does tie them for first in the league with Dallas.
Whew.
But since the start of November, it's now 6 power play goals, 6 shorthanded goals. Since December, 3 and 6.
6 shorties.
Yep.
And since November 7th, 6-4, updating Hainsey's tweet from earlier today, it is nuts that your penalty kill could outscore your power play. Certainly in a one-game situation, yeah, that could happen. I mean,
and one of the weirdest ones we've seen with Coleman.
Yeah, which makes sense. I mean, when you see it for the first time, you're like, whoa, how can the ref just do that? But then you realize if it's a breakaway and he's impeded a scoring chance, that's a penalty shot. They'd pulled their goalie. Do you want to see Blake Coleman do a penalty shot into an empty net? Give him the damn goal.
I would love to see that.
I did actually think about that too. I was like, it would be kind of funny to watch you guys skate in on an empty net.
This was like the definition of go girl, give us nothing. And you never know what can happen. Who was it who missed that empty netter? Blew a tire, missed the empty netter, blew a tire. There we go.
Patrick Steffen. It was,
they took it back the other way to score.
Dallas against Edmonton, was it not?
Yes.
And Peter Labardius had the call. It was something special. We chat with Peter often, and often that comes up because it is one of his greater calls and more memorable incidents that he had the pleasure of calling in the NHL. The penalty kill is killing at 82%. That's about 6% off the league lead, which is the Bruins. But the Bruins have 0 shorties. When you factor in the Calgary Flames have scored 8 now, they've allowed 17. So you want to remove the 8, that net total of 9 would be right up there. Only Dallas and Philly would be better in terms of those aggregate totals. I guess Vegas too. So they're a top 5 penalty kill. They've really saved the bacon of this hockey club tonight, because if they allow 1 and don't score any, this is absolutely a Florida win. And for portions of the night, Florida did a lot of what they wanted to do with the Calgary Flames. They really didn't allow a ton for the Flames. It wasn't as if Anthony Stolarz had to be sensational here. And at the other end, Jacob Markstrom, tip of the cap, sir. You had an amazing return from, I guess, a brief absence. And if I am correct, he had an amazing return from a brief absence last time we saw Dustin Wolf when they were out east and they used Vladar and Wolf in that Canadian swing. It was Markstrom back against Montreal, and they won 2-1. It was actually still out east, and that was one of his better games of the season. So
this was statistically his best game. He had a .971 save percentage, and he saved 34 shots.
And I think of the scrambles late
on the season.
I think it was after the was it after the Coleman goal? No, it was probably before. So that's even bigger. And so those scrambles late with less than 90 seconds left, chaos in front, bodies everywhere. Even after Backlund scores the game winner, to make it 2-1. It's what stood as the game winner. Markstrom again having to deal with a lot of traffic, and that's how Florida scored their only goal. Is Matthew Tkachuk redirecting a puck in front, and then that leaves a rebound to get tucked in by Sam Reinhart, who everyone knows is going to get a whopping contract this summer because, he's picked a good time to have a career year.
Start printing the money.
Write that down, free agents for the Flames. You too can make way too much money if you want to have your best year of your career this year. Let's get to our Betway highlight of the night, Cami. It's a bit of a no-brainer tonight. Betway, get the app, 19 plus Ontario only. Bet the responsible way with Betway. And man, if you had a little action on a Flame shorty, you'd be happy with this. tucks it in, high glove on Stolarz. And if this wasn't enough, he also broke up a couple plays and had a second shorthanded break that nearly garnered another shorthanded goal for him. That is the 17th shorthanded goal of his career. Only Theo Fleury has more with 28. I think NHL tweeted this out. So Jacko, if you got it, let's get it. There it is. 17th career shorty. Past Kent Nilsson. Take that, Magic Man. Sole possession of second. And yeah, of course, Theo had 28. I don't know how much of Theo's prime you got to see. You're younger than I am, but Theo was built for the penalty kill. Like he did.
I was more around for the later years.
Well, and you know what? It's prime Theo was dangerous as could be shorthanded. No doubt about it. Not that he wasn't good on the power play or at even strength, but yeah, Theo at 28 is the least surprising thing when you think about it there. Michael Backlund, tip of the cap. And for him, where are we at for goals this season? That's 7. So he's kind of still flirting with the maybe he could get to 20 pace, which is always a really good number for Michael Backlund. I think he's only eclipsed 20 once or twice in his career, and no one ever thinks you could write him down for more than that. And he is 35. This is, I think, quietly a really strong season from Backlund, who again is part of a great penalty kill and probably shouldn't be a part of a power play, but is here. And that's the part that maybe isn't.
So guess who got to see that in person tonight?
Tell me.
Per Julian McKenzie, Mr. Murray Edwards in the building this evening.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. That might concern me more than it makes me excited.
I know he's probably going to see this and be like, yeah, we're fine.
Well,
push for playoffs.
Here's the thing. Jack, I haven't given you notice, but the gauntlet run is a 15-game stretch we've talked about that takes them right into Christmas time. They've now played 13 of the 15. They're above 500. They're now 6-5-2 through 13 games. They close with Anaheim and LA before Christmas. That's Thursday and Saturday. That is, a winnable game and a really, really tough opponent. Now, this team, who knows? Last year, they had a significantly better record against playoff teams versus bottom 5-10 teams in the league. They were a nightmare against the Flames. So I don't know that it's going to be the same this year. I don't think it should be the same. I think last year kind of was an outlier that way, but safe to say there's 2 games left and they've got a really good shot to be 500 or better on this 15-game run, which is wild. So if you're the owner of the team and you said, we just played the toughest 15-game stretch of the schedule and we're over 500 and we lost Tanev for essentially 4 games and Zadorov was traded somewhere in there and we had Markstrom gone for a significant chunk of those games, like absolutely you could say this group's good enough. I don't believe that, but if you only watch this stretch, it's not a crazy thought to arrive at, is it?
I mean, the kids are that good.
The kids continue to be very good. I think it's more than the kids, though. I don't look at kids on the blue line. I'm not looking at kids in net.
Noah
I'm not
Hanifin
looking
had a great game too.
I'm not looking at kids on the penalty kill here. It's a deeper group of forwards. It's a deeper group of D before the Zadorov trade. Imagine if they had Shillington. They were playing defensemen 7, 8, 9, 10 the last little while with Solovyov plus Osterley and Gilbert and DeSimone. DeSimone and Gilbert stayed in, Osterley out tonight. But yeah, I mean, look, if someone was watching this stretch and said, I'm not ready for you, GM, I'm not going to greenlight you trading a Hanifin or a Lindholm, and we're speculating like crazy. I would understand that position. I wouldn't agree with it again. You're
Fair
not,
enough.
you're okay with that? Or, I mean, I think generally speaking, most people are like, the prudent thing to do here would be to sell your UFAs and not extend them at the rates that they want, nor of course, walk them to free agency. That wouldn't be good asset management.
I still think you wait till you get closer to the deadline and just drive that price through the roof.
Yeah.
As teams are wont to do.
And to be fair, larger samples tell better stories, or at least more accurate stories. Maybe not as exciting of stories, but if the Flames are in a playoff spot in the second week of March,
the Flames could be in a playoff spot by Christmas.
like and again, that's great, but if it's March, that's a really tough spot. And I guess there's lots of angles to it. There's the gauntlet run. Thank you, Jack. Appreciate it. 2 games left. They're 6-5-2. Like, what are we doing here? This is wild. There will not be a 15-game stretch with more difficult opponents that they'll have to face.
But again, just leave it up, Jack. Like, again, let's count. There's
one game out of it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those losses are all by 1 goal too.
Yeah, they get shellacked by Minnesota on the night that I thought they looked awful, and otherwise they're in every game. And they blew third period leads in 3 losses at Colorado, at Vegas, at Minnesota. They get 2 loser points, but they weren't far from 5 or 6 points on that road trip. You are what the record says you are, but they're not looking outclassed against the class of the league, and that's what a lot of those teams are. If we talk about Dallas, we talk about Colorado, we talk about Vegas. We're talking about cup contenders. Minnesota, I think, is a playoff team. They'll see LA on the weekend. They absolutely look the part of a team that could win the Pacific Division. Like that is the who's who of cup contenders and teams that can win their divisions. I think they caught Jersey and Carolina at the right time, but they're still very good teams. So this is a bit of a wrinkle that I didn't expect we would see. So your Betway highlight of the contest is the game-winning goal, the Backlund shorthanded goal sprung by Noah Hannafin. You noted it. It's the first of 2 shorties, 17th of his career. He's only 11 back, Theo. And I wrote down because I was sure we were going to need it. Wow, that's their 7th shorty of the year. They weren't done. They got another, as we noted, with Coleman. It's 8. It leads the league. And yeah, I just wonder where this group is tonight without that special teams unit for Florida. It's like, geez, they were pretty good 5-on-5. They had long stretches. I thought the end of the first and then, most of the second, they dictated the terms of play.
And can you believe we missed the most important stat of the night?
Oh, please tell me.
Matthew Tkachuk is 0-3 against the Flames.
He is. Yeah, they lost both those games last year. It's only 2 a year unless you want to meet in the final, which would be great. Go ahead by all means and do that. And then again tonight. So I'm sure Matthew would say, yeah, I wish I was back in Calgary. No, he probably said, yeah, I didn't mind playing in the cup final last year.
No, he's doing fine. But
yeah.
Do we want some copium? Do we want some copium for the Flames fans?
You young people have to explain your terms for me. So I've seen the term copium.
Copium.
No, yeah. So what does copium mean?
Coping. You're familiar with the term coping?
I am familiar with coping.
To deal with something difficult.
So copium would help us cope with something.
Yes.
Okay.
Take your copium.
Let me hit some copium here live on YouTube.
So Jonathan Huberdeau famously had that 60-point drop-off from the 115-point season to his first campaign in Calgary. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying Matthew Tkachuk is on pace for a 51-point drop-off from last season. So do with that what you will.
And Mackenzie Weegar continues to outscore Matthew Tkachuk. I would not bet that that's going to hold up, nor will your point drop, but it hasn't been vintage Matthew Tkachuk. They talked about it on the broadcast. It was not a long off season with lots of recovery time for a guy with it was a broken sternum or something crazy.
It was a sternum. Yep.
Yeah. Something with an S and vowels that doesn't sound comfy if it was broken. So he's not exactly right. That would be fine. But he's still a very productive player. The only goal they score on the night's a lot of Matthew Tkachuk. That doesn't happen without his redirect in front. I wish I could say the same thing about Jonathan Huberdeau, who, when he has the puck, it always seems to end up a puck the other team has. And a lot of talk about him shooting.
He came out with some jump tonight. He won that first. Well, you could see Tkachuk was kind of going after him. They were going at it back and forth. They were going at him pretty good. But right off the hop, he was trying to give it to him physically. He won a couple puck battles with Tkachuk, and then it waned. Do you find when you watch them, there's just a difference in the urgency between their games?
Between Tkachuk
and Huberdeau.
Oh, considerably. Tkachuk was no matter what's going on, I will drag all of you, my teammates, into a battle. That might be the opposite of how I described Jonathan Huberdeau's play, where it's just really killed the mo there with that turnover, Johnny. If it's going to be a pest fest between Tkachuk and Huberdeau, I know which fighter I'm picking, but it's he's now on the second power play unit. He's on pace for a much worse year than he had last year, which we thought was rock bottom. But there's only 7 2/3 seasons left on that contract at $10.5 million, which is essentially buyout proof because it's all signing bonuses pretty much. And anyway, I did say something nice at the beginning of the show.
You got there.
I did. And I did comment on that tidy record on the gauntlet run. So there is that.
Yeah, you do see Huberto like ice time dropping again too. 14:54 tonight.
Yeah. Well, an off power play, one significant for me. Like if right now it's Zeri and Sharangovich, Kadri, Rasmus, and Lindholm. And it's like, yep, all those guys deserve it more than he does. I mean, if you want to go giving out power play time on shit that happened 2 years ago, maybe not. But we got a large sample size of John Huberto here, and he doesn't belong on power play 1 right now. Power play 2 doesn't look great. Now, granted, there are guys that I don't think should be on a power play unit, like Coleman and Backlund, great penalty killing duo. Probably don't have enough talent if they're on power play 2. And I don't
saw that too. Like we looked at Coleman's like his entire career. Like he's not a power play guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's a penalty killing guy.
Yeah.
He has a lot of shorthanded points.
And maybe if you had a healthy Pelche and Coronado was up, you would slot things differently. But at this point, you don't. And we know this is a team that lacks elite high-end finishers. I wouldn't say they lack goaltending. I wouldn't say they lack good defensemen. I would say that they don't have game breakers. Like Sharangovich has been such a revelation because it's like, oh my gosh, someone that can like score from distance. Like, where did we find this guy? How did this happen? Like, is there someone that you would be comfortable suggesting could score 30 goals for this team? I'm not there.
No.
Maybe Sharangovich, but again, we're just watching him on a heater. He's never going to look as hot as he looks when he scored 6 times in 5 games. That streak comes to an end tonight, by the way. So he's only scored 6 and 6. Trade him! Bum! No, he's doing just great. But point being, it's if you're wondering why the second power play unit looks like a group of penalty killers, well, that correlates to not having finishers, I would suggest. You like the young guys again. I thought, again, the Kadri line with Pospisil and Zeri was excellent.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at it, actually. The Flames have at least a point in every game that Pospisil scores in.
Okay, so I hope he scores a lot if they like points.
Well, like, keep feeding him.
If they want to rebuild, they better trade this cat.
Should I use all my hungry for more stats right now?
No, that's fine. I don't want you to burn any of them. If you've got them, keep them. But I like that line a bunch. And yeah,
no, it's nice to see him. He's kind of coming into that agitator role for sure. And it's fun to see Zeri getting into it too. And they're still trying creative things.
Very good. You had looked at some Kadri stuff. We'll get to that later. Chris Tanev did return tonight, and it was not long before he blocked a shot. I believe just seconds into the game. Chris Tanev doing Chris Tanev things, returned to the bench, looking at parts of his body, showing the trainer. It's going to be this.
Late.
It's
that one was late where he took the shot off the hand, and that was right after Markstrom like robbed Bennett.
And so this is going to be one of those drills for Flames fans where it's like, okay, how many times tonight have we gasped and thought Tanev's done for the year? There's always one, it seems, and that's just the way he plays. I think they're going to get a haul for him with one massive, blinking red light asterisk, which is if he's healthy at the deadline or when they trade him. And I would accept 90%, I think, of market rate if I could get him out knowing he's healthy rather than risk the way he plays for another, let's say, 30 games. It's a lot of hockey, maybe more, because we started the season around October 10. We're now almost at Christmas. So let's call that 2.5 months. 2.5 months from now, that's the deadline. Like it's 30 to 35 games for Chris Tanev probably to get there. Just got hurt on the last road trip. Man, it'd be nice if teams had some cap space. I think it's really tough to get a deal run done right now. And so I think Connie's kind of looking at a spot where he probably has to just hold his breath and say, please pray to the hockey gods, keep this guy healthy, or at least if he's going to get hurt, happen now, be ready to be traded by March.
Well, with so many teams in that cap situation now too, I wonder if we almost have to look for like what happened with Zadorov, where you need to look for like a smaller deal happening elsewhere where you see a team probably trying to clear out some cap space, and we see the dominoes fall that way rather than one team dishing this player.
The other thing the Flames can do now they couldn't with Zadorov is that because they gained some cap space in that deal, and now because they've got guys off of LTIR, they can take some money back, which I think will help with these other deals of higher salaried players. What is it? 4.5 for Tanev. You're talking 4.95 for Hanifin, a similar number for Lindholm. Not a lot of money out there, but I think they're coveted assets. Tanev, Hannafin, and Lindholm, all for different reasons, but really good players. So
I'll say it now. I'm sold on
sell.
Hannafin now.
For what, a sale?
No, like no, he's good.
Okay, you weren't sure? Sorry, I'm dying.
No, I mean, like, for a long time, he was like not close to my favorite Flames defenseman.
No, and
there were so many things I questioned, and now I just see the game's solid.
I've moaned about him, but it's not that he's not good; it's that he's not great. Like, he has all the tools of a superstar, of sub one. Like, he skates like a superstar. He shoots it hard. It's just the vision is probably just okay. And so once you come to terms with that, you're like, oh, he can play 25 minutes against anyone and he can skate like the wind. Yeah, he's a valuable piece. I don't love him on the power play, but if you consider penalty kill and even strength heavy lifting, like that's an important piece on a championship caliber team. We'll take a break. I'm going to try to not die, drink some water. We'll come back. We've got the road ahead for Village Honda. Also, a hungry for more. Cami still got some stats, I hope, for that. And your comments and questions. It's Afterburner following a 3-1 Flames win with two shorties. BK Beaufort Liquor is a proud sponsor of Afterburner. In fact, our very first sponsor ever, right back to our first Afterburner ever. Big thank you to Mandeep, Manjeet, and Jazz. Huge Flames fans, a heck of a family. Good-looking cashier, Mandeep, as well. Find them right across from Winsport on the Trans-Canada Highway. Whether you're grabbing some beer for your place in town or you're heading to the mountains, make sure you stop in, say hello. Whether it's a specialty wine, liquor, six-pack of beer, whatever it is, check it out and grab it at BK Beaufort Liquor.
Coming up in January, we'd love you to be there with us. We are going to Phoenix the 11th to 13th of January. It is the Barn Burner vacation to see the Flames take on the Coyotes. We got your hotels, we got your flights, we got your game tickets. Go to nationgear.ca to book yourself a spot. $14.99 based on double occupancy. You can book your spot now at nationgear.ca. That's the website. You'll find the link on the top. Avoid all the Oilers stuff. It's there, but just pretend it doesn't. nationgear.ca, and then book your spot in. They are moving. There's a limited quantity, obviously, but it's going to be a great time. Whether the win or the losing, who cares? It's Phoenix in January. Go and watch some hockey, hang out, have a heck of a time. nationgear.ca, once again, to book yourself in for that. And it's brought to you by Alberta Blue Cross. Memorable moments with Alberta Blue Cross. It's about cherishing past moments and making new ones. Alberta Blue Cross Travel Insurance helps you protect your memories and more. Wherever travel takes you, visit ab.bluecross.ca/travel for more information. Alberta Blue Cross, celebrating life's memorable moments inspired by hockey.
It's hockey season. Get ready to cheer on your favorite teams with us at the Stage Bar at the Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Enjoy the game on one of their huge, large screens with friends, drinks, and delicious food. Let's go. Visit GreyEagleResortAndCasino.ca for more information. How about this information? Happy hour. Doesn't get much happier than this. 3 hours of happy hour. Let's make the most of the day and your afternoons with great drinks and food. Join us at the Stage Bar and Blaze Bar and Grill for the new happy hour. Every day, 2 till 5. Great food, specialty drinks, all starting at $5. Visit GreyEagleResortAndCasino.ca for more information. We are back on Afterburner. I'm still alive. The Calgary Flames very much so as well. After a 3-1 victory over the Florida Panthers, they go 2-0 at home against the Floridians. Tampa Bay, they lop them off on Saturday pretty decisively, 4-2 margin. Another 2-goal victory here. This one a little more tense, tied through 40 minutes at 1-1.
How nervous were you when they started doing the wave?
I had multiple people texting me from the venue, so I was nervous to be the wrong word. Disappointed would be dead on the exact emotion. Tie game or 1-goal game, the wave, rather than watching the be better, people. Be better. And you know what? Hey, they won the game tonight. It's not a perfect curse.
They dominated for stretches of this game. They got dominated for stretches of this game.
Yeah. What stretches did you? I thought they had a good start. Was that sort of what you were thinking?
They had a really good start. No, they had a couple periods of like really prolonged ozone time. Guys were doing a good job making sure to be first to rebounds. And then the same
Florida
thing would happen to
kinda
them. They just
took
get hemmed.
over, yeah.
Yeah.
It was an
I know,
important
like,
third
the
period
fourth
for
line
them.
in particular got hemmed pretty good.
Yeah.
But they didn't allow anything. So
The goaltender was great, no doubt about it. And the third period became a special teams affair with what I'm looking at here. It's essentially 5 penalties. I don't know how you view the breakaway on an empty net / which I guess is the penalty that turns the penalty shot that turns the automatic goal. But yeah, it's either 5 or 6 power plays in the third. So it wasn't a bunch of even strength hockey compared to the first 2 periods. And I would have thought that was trouble if you gave the Florida Panthers, 3 power plays in the third period and you had 2. Might not go well for you. But again, heroes of the night, penalty killers. 2 shorties in the third, they win 3-1.
Let's get up for that power play. The first power play was so bad.
A lot of people didn't like that. Yeah.
No, it was so bad it made me feel stupid. I'm like,
okay, explain that.
I'm like, why is no one in this spot? Why is Jacob Markstrom over here? Why is no one back there? I thought, like, do I just not understand this system at all? Or is this just that messed up?
If we see too much of that, we have to wonder if Mark Savard knows what this system is supposed to be doing. It been
created
a rough
cloud of
first
existential
year.
dread.
Okay, well, we wish you well with that. Hopefully we can conquer that existential dread. That seems pretty ominous.
I'll schedule like a prayer circle with the Flames or something.
Let's bring Mark Savard, could you? Power play continues to struggle. Yeah, it's heavily outscored by the penalty kill for not just a week, a day, a game, but for over a month. Is, I believe, since November 7th, the shorthanded goals have outnumbered the power play goals 6-4. That's atrocious. Let's. I want to just.
And that is, to be fair, we're going back to November 7th to give the power play some credit because the first shorthanded goal came on November 22nd.
Yeah. Okay. So, geez, that's even worse than I made it sound. Wow. Penalty kill currently 28. There's still 4 teams worse than the power play. I find that hard to believe, but that was before tonight. 13% on the road, 11.6, 12% overall. Ugh. Still stunning.
And it's still not the worst in the league.
Yeah, like I said, 4 teams below them. That's gross. Okay, let's get to the road ahead. We do that for Village Honda. Whether it is a new vehicle or a pre-owned car, there's a bunch on site, in stock, all models, all ranges, all budgets, all makes, all models. Check it out, villagehonda.com, or up in the Northwest Auto Mall. They also have a bunch of access to even more pre-owned vehicles in the dealer group, over 400 to be exact. So they present the road ahead. Cami, what do the Flames have on the road ahead?
They're flying south to face the Ducks on Thursday.
Ducks flying south. Migration, we call it.
Yes, they do. Anaheim just snapped a 5-game losing streak. They beat the Devils, and tonight the Red Wings almost collapsed against the Red Wings, but they did hold on. They will be playing. They are playing the second half of a back-to-back tonight, so they'll have a couple days to rest before Calgary rolls in. Frank Vetrano had a pretty hot start for the Ducks.
He was red hot out of the gate.
You had him in fantasy.
I still do, at least in one of my leagues. Yeah.
Cooled off.
Frank was at a Flames development camp, I want to say around 2012 or 13.
Yeah, he's what, 29 now?
Well, I mean, you do the math on that. He was playing college at the time, and it certainly was a few bounce around before he settled with Anaheim. Florida actually had a bunch of run there, and I think one of the Boston as well. Yeah. Either way, Frank's conditioning was not sensational. He garnered the nickname the Pizza Man because his father owned a famous pizza place, I believe somewhere in New Jersey or something like that. He's better now and still can shoot the puck. He could do that before too.
Good for him.
But an interesting Flames tie. It was like Noel Achari, him, and a few others that were college guys that won fateful June or July.
Yeah, they got Frankie V, Mason McTavish, fun young guy to watch. So he was big at World Juniors, the Summer World Juniors.
Yeah, Leo Carlson will be fun to watch if they let him play. They're doing. Have you seen what they've done with him?
No.
They're like, not back to backs. We are a rookie. You go work out that second game.
Oh dear.
I don't know. Pat for beak. So.
Yikes.
We'll see if we see Leo.
So there's Anaheim. Then we got LA to wrap up the pre-Christmas schedule on
LA
Saturday. Sitting third in the Pacific. They're 6 points behind Van for second, and they have 5 games in hand.
I was going to say, I bet you they got better points percentage.
Yes, they do. They're playing back-to-back against San Jose and Seattle prior to facing Calgary. So pretty chill on paper stretch for them. So basically heading into Christmas, Calgary has a trap game and then
The trap
They are
game.
the trap game.
Right. That's fair.
But it's crazy. Like LA's not necessarily scoring a ton. They only have like a couple more goals really than Calgary, but that
They
is the
were great at that earlier, too.
stingiest defense in the league.
So they have about the same number of goals and they've played 5 fewer. So not a huge chasm there. But yeah, look at the goals against.
They've only allowed 65. So that's like less than 2.5 per game. And our old pal Cam Talbot among starters. So like 10 plus games started. He's first in starting goalies with a 202 goals against average and fourth in save percentage with 926.
Another old pal, David Riddick's been called up because they just placed Phoenix Copley on LTIR, I believe. So it'll be a former Flames tandem potentially on the 23rd with Talbot and Big Save Dave.
The goalie revenge tour.
Potentially. That's your road ahead for Village Honda. We thank Village Honda for joining us.
Are you okay?
Kind of dying here. Not sure why. Did you notice everything was fine until we turned on the show?
Yeah.
Nah. Right? Like, why? Why can't I be dealing with this when it's the third period? Not during the post-game
Mixing a
show.
tea between the beers, Pinder. It's good for you.
Yeah, it's been a lot of tea today, not a lot of beer. That might be the issue. Yeah, no wonder. That's the wrong one. Okay, Village Honda. Again, Northwest Auto Mall, villagehonda.com. Let your automotive adventure start there. Your dealership for life. Do you know what that's from? See, it's just a gap here.
What is it? What is it?
Well, it's the NWO from WCW, which is probably two acronyms you're not familiar with.
I know some things, not that thing.
That's all right. You know what copium is, so we're Evie Stevie. Hungry for more? We'll do this one for DoorDash. Ordering is easy, whether it's a pharmacy, which I think I might need after tonight, groceries, restaurants, bakeries, flower shops, and more. DoorDash has everything you need. It's easy. Just open the DoorDash app, choose what you want from where you want, and your items, poof, right there to your doorstep, including we've got contactless delivery. So it's like, I don't want anyone ringing my doorbell, touching my knobs. Just leave it there in the bag.
They don't want you getting them sick.
I wouldn't want.
I deserve hazard pay for being this close to you right now.
Consider it submitted. Okay. Also, they do Double Dash. What's Double Dash? Well, maybe you have flowers and you need that letter from the pharmacy saying, I'm going to die tonight, but I love you, family. You can do both those deliveries with one fee, but it gets even better than that. How about this? If you, one of our pals here watching Afterburner or Barn Burner, have never used DoorDash, go get the app, enter promo code NATION25 for 25% off your first order and no delivery fees, which is pretty nails. All you got to do is hit that $15 threshold, and there you go. Enter code NATION25. That's Nation code 25 for 25% off your first order with DoorDash. Offer valid in Canada, subject to change. Terms apply. Dash that for the win. What are you hungry for? More of Cami.
Nazem Kadri.
Nazem Kadri.
Yes.
Now he's playing a lot and he's playing well. He's been playing well for a while. What do you want more of? Or you just like keep this run going?
In particular, I want more Nazem Kadri assists.
Okay. Like you're seeing not enough of them, or you wanted them to continue?
I'm seeing good ones and I want to see more.
Yes.
He had that long pass on the Pospisil goal, a great pass. Like he might be their best forward when it comes to actually breaking out the puck, because we've seen that be an element of the game where the Flames can struggle sometimes and just get turned back and get stuck.
He's been really good basically from the moment that Zary arrived there, but I feel like that almost is like stripping him of credit. It's like, okay, so Zary arrived, Zary's playing well, and Kadri's playing well, and Postel's playing well. Give them all credit for playing well, and if it's a great fit, that's a bonus,
and they're all battling. Yeah,
they all have, especially Pospisil and Kadri, they've got a bit of mustard to their game, and tip of the cap to Zary, who seems to be able to create chances at a rate that no one else on the team can individually. Like we've seen him walk defensemen multiple times. There's a creative tilt to his game that is surprising, to be frank, given that he didn't dominate the American League statistically. I know there's a lot of injuries in there. COVID messed up some seasons, but he's been awesome. But Nazem Kadri deserves his credit. He is vintage Nazem Kadri, scoring, setting up goals, drawing penalties, fully engaged emotionally in contests, being a shit disturber, playing that pest angle.
the shift where I really saw it, and I kind of wanted to bring it up earlier when you were saying, like, when did the Flames dominate? Well, there were shifts where, he's making plays from his knees. He's getting up and getting after that puck and still getting a scoring chance from it, getting the rebound. And this shift that I'm talking about, after he got his own scoring chance, he was still able to get the rebound and set up Rasmus Andersson for a long bomb. That was a pretty good shot and might have even been a goal. Like, maybe if they could have had some more traffic in front.
He's been great. And you know what? Like, we were hard on him when he wasn't great, and I think he deserved it, but he deserves a lot of credit right now for being one of their more consistent players and one of their best players. It's not just like, hey, Nazem had that nice run. It's like, no, this has been like, I'll look at the schedule because I think it was the Seattle game where Pospisil scored. That was a 6-3 win back on November 4th. Like, we're talking, geez, that's like a month and a half. And if over that stretch, who would their best player been? You'd be like him and Zari. Or Zary, whatever we're saying. Do we know how we're supposed to? Zary, yeah, thank you. Good. It was very funny on Barn Burner today.
Zary, and I know we asked Nas last year, like, how do you say? And he's like, Kadri. So I always have to remind myself,
Ka, not Ka.
Not Ka.
It's close. And then they'll leave town
he's
and
at 23
totally
points
change
now.
their name.
23 points now, 8 goals, 15 assists.
And this is Kadri?
Yeah.
Ka?
Ka.
Kadri. Glad Cami's here. Someone knows how to say people's names properly.
Man, can I tell you something awful?
Yes, please do.
I was doing a story once, like anchoring it live on Global, and it was about Alberta football players. So Chuba Hubbard.
Yep.
Ajo Ajo.
Oh my God.
Eamon Ogbong Bamiga.
Yep.
And the name I messed up, Dean Leonard.
This is Deanne Leonard.
No, it was like Eamon Ogbong Bamiga and Dean Leonard. It's awful.
Well, yeah, there must have been a fly that flew in her mouth on that one. There's no way she could get the others right and mess up that one.
Humbling.
Very good. I'm going to do a Hungry More with a different vein. Yours is like, keep it going because it's great.
Yours is like, please, sir, can I have some more? Can I have a scrap of
mine's
something?
like, I'm never going to order this off the menu again. I need it to, the chef has to make something different. And that's Huberto again, who just, I want to see, they were beating him up for not shooting on a 2-on-1. I don't care if he passes, if the passes get through, but when the passes don't get through, it is just the worst of all worlds. I would guarantee there's double-digit number of odd man rushes where they don't even get a shot because he's trying something that doesn't click. And he's never been known as a shooter because he isn't one. And that doesn't mean you don't ever shoot, but the problem is that when you're a pass first guy and that's your great elite skill and you can't do that anymore, what do we have left?
A guy who gave up the puck 3 times on the same shift.
Yeah, I think we were talking about it. He's on the left wing wall in his own zone, left shot. And so he takes a pass and then turns it over. And then, it comes back to the left wing, takes it. And it's like, just on his stick for a moment. And then it gets taken away back to Florida. Third time, turn it over again. And it's just like, and I know he's trying. I don't think this is someone who doesn't care. I don't think this is someone that is lacking the will, but it just looks really bad almost all the time now. And I don't know who's. And
I kind of felt from
like,
obviously
he
had
sheet,
to be. Oh yeah, the giveaways were not correct.
Yeah,
like at this point, this was
0,
shortly.
and I'm like,
yeah, that was, I checked and it said 0 like shortly after we watched that shift with like the 3.
Yeah, and so maybe they don't call that a giveaway for some reason, but I just know that if he's got the puck, I would bet a lot of money that Florida has the puck pretty soon after if we replayed that game.
But it's difficult to watch, and even with the pre-game scrums, like obviously he's going to be the guy who needs to talk, but it was also difficult to listen to and hear him try to say like, yeah, I felt like I earned the contract. Obviously, I want to keep earning it.
No, I know, but I mean, what is anyone supposed to say there? Like, I feel for him because he doesn't want it to go this way, but there really isn't any defending the play. It's just been so bad that it's like, we said it in the last Afterburner, like, I have incredibly low expectations that he'll be able to justify any of this contract moving forward. Now, did he play to a certain level to earn the contract he got? Yeah, sure. Was it an overpay? Yeah, maybe not so much in dollars, but certainly in the structure of the contract it was. The Calgary Flames are never going to given out a contract with the type of I guess, structure with bonuses that he's getting. And that's particularly dangerous because if the player doesn't live up to his value, it's almost impossible to buy out. And so what you're seeing right now with Minnesota, with Suter and Parise's buyouts, is they were heavily bonused, and they sort of said it's going to be financial hell for a long time, but we want to change the culture in our room. So Suter and Parise were both bought out, and they have $15 million they can't use. Normally it's you get 2/3 of the money spread out over double the term. So there are cap savings for teams, but on a signing bonus, you don't lose any of that. It's only AAV. And Jonathan Huber is making like very, very, very small salaries and massive, massive, massive signing bonuses. It's a sign of leverage from agents and players when you get it. And to be fair, if you look back at what had transpired leading up to that signing, it was an emotional signing by the GM. He kept talking about sometimes you have to punch back and sometimes you got to stick up for the city. It's like, are these very logical tactics in signing a contract, or is this an emotional thing where you need to prove something to other people? And when he was saying those things, it was like, hope it works, because you've never made a contract like this before. And yeah, it's, I don't know that I have a way to end this comment, except that my hope of it getting better is also dwindling. Not that, you know, it's impossible, but year one, you're like, okay, the coach is a problem. Let's see the new fit. Year two, it's like, oh, geez, the coach may have been a problem, but there are much bigger problems than the coach because it doesn't look like a Florida guy. And they flashed the stats when he played with the Panthers, and it's nearly a point per game player for a huge number of games, with over 800. And you factor in some struggles early in his career. I think it was 5 point per game seasons in a row before he arrives in Calgary. This player looks nothing like a point per game player.
No, and I remember after he of course he got a couple of points off the hop this year, and we were like, oh, they're not great points though. And then
kind of hollow.
Yeah, and then there was the big slump, and then he got that one goal, and we were kind of relieved because you could see that the other guys were still excited for him.
Yeah, it was like they still care for this guy.
Yeah, they haven't checked out on him, but now it is 9 games without a point. 14 games without a goal. So now it's like, hey, we're not even seeing a point to like kind of check in and see if the rest
second
of the team
power
is still
play
in on
units.
this.
He had 2 points, both assists back on the November 30th game against Dallas. He's 0 for December. That's a lot of hockey. If you remember when they played tired Vancouver, well, I guess that would be December. Yeah, he missed the other one was mid-November. Either way, it's been a long time, and the ice time started at 20 minutes on the 2nd of December. It's down to under 15 for back-to-back games. I think that's the first time this year we've seen sub 15 minutes, 2 games in a row, and just confirming that it is the case. Off power play 1, no production. It's not a player that you can put on your 3rd or 4th line and say, well, at least they're banging and crashing, and like his entire value is based off his playmaking and creating offense. And so that's not been anything in December.
I haven't even seen a spinorama pass for a while.
Those ones often go the other way. I'm okay with not seeing that one. But anyway, that's my hunger for more. I don't know if it's futile or not, or if it feels like we're beating a dead horse, but yeah, that's not getting better, that situation. Hungry for more for DoorDash. Again, Nation25 is your promo code. I don't know that there's anything else there that we haven't hammered a ton. Are we good to turn the page?
Send that question to the Glue Factory.
Yeah. Okay. We'll head to break. We'll come back. Comments and questions on tap. Flames, quite an impressive run here against some of the league's best. A win at home against Tampa on Saturday. A win tonight against Florida 3-1. It's Afterburner.
Greta, it's our home away from home for Afterburner. We'll be there for live watch parties throughout the season. Should be your spot regardless. Before, during, and after the game, grab a cocktail, something from the menu, let the games begin, or maybe you get into the game yourself. Over 50 arcade games from vintage to state-of-the-art. Load up some credits on that Greta game card of yours and get at it. Greta Calgary, located at 213 10th Avenue Southwest. Check them out online, gretabar.com.
Derek Newman of Newman Deems Real Estate Group with CIR Realty are proud sponsors of Afterburner. Born and raised in Calgary, Derek not only loves talking sports, golfing, but he's an avid sports fan. He's happy to talk sports or real estate with you. Complimentary in-house staging consultations, finding homes not on the market. If you're buying for the first time or a seasoned seller of homes, chat with Derek and he'll help you achieve your goals. If you're interested in buying or selling in the greater Calgary area, call Derek or text him at 403-619-6661 and let Derek put his network to work for you. That's Derek Newman for Newman Deans Real Estate Group with CIR Realty. One of the first things I do every Monday is head over to dailyfaceoff.com and I click on the Wendy's Fantasy Survivor Pool. Here's all it is. You got to pick some overs or unders, whether it's a point, a goal, hits, a team shot total, a win. You survive on Monday, you live to see another day, and you can earn major points towards Wendy's in the process. Wendy's is letting you win real food with your fantasy teams this year with the Wendy's Daily Face-Off Survivor Pool. For those of you who dream of smoking the competition, Wendy's is rewarding you with weekly prizes that'll have you winning despite your lack of winning combinations. But here's the big secret to lineups. It's all serendipitous. Like Wendy's new limited edition chicken strips and French toast sticks. Sometimes the best teammates are the ones you'd least suspect. Sign up to play Daily Face-Off Survivor Pool to win weekly prizes like new chicken strips and French toast sticks from Wendy's and the Wendy's app. We are back on Afterburner, a 3-1 win for the Calgary Flames over the Florida Panthers in the return of Matthew Tkachuk.
And Sam Bennett.
And Ryan Lomberg. How dare you? And for some reason, I always want to bring
Mark's
up Sam.
had a really good save on Lomberg.
I love Lomberg. And you could see why there's a few guys like that are in the Flames system. I always wonder, geez, what would it have taken for him? Because I don't even know if he got up for maybe a game or two. Trying to think of the Ryan Lomberg. If you can Google that for me, that would be lovely. I've got the website I want fixated on something else because I see a question coming up. It is time for questions and comments. Let's do that. Jack, our fine producer, he is going to, lift up some questions and comments. We will react to them. Jack,
I've got also for 11 games.
11 games for Lomberg.
He had 1 assist, and that is over 2 seasons.
That's better than Huberdeau's December. Hey, Ryan and Cami, with the rise of Igor, Zary, and Pospisil, how good can this team be if Huberdeau finds this game? Well, I don't see those 3 players being superstars. So Zary's a very good player. Pospisil looks like an energy guy playing a line or two too high. And Igor is a shooter that, hey, if he could get to 30, that'd be something. But we're not talking about Malkin, Crosby, and Letang here, right? This isn't Stone, Eichel, and Marchessault. It is good to have players like this. They are good. That is not a core.
I'd say
one of those players is probably a piece that you could say you could build around.
I'd say if Huberdeau heated up.
Yeah, that's the disclaimer.
And Sharangovich, Zary, and Pospisil keep playing the way they do. Third Pacific.
They're which?
Third Pacific.
Better than Vancouver, LA, or Vegas, or Edmonton.
If they got better. Because I think that's
the thing with the if there is like,
because I'm also assuming
if Huberdeau's going to go be
Vancouver gets rid of Kuzmenko.
Let's just stick with the if Huberdeau thing. If he wants to go be a 115-point dynamic winger, everything changes with this team. Those first 3 parts don't mean nearly as much as that last part.
Because then if he heated up, you'd assume he'd be with Lindholm, and then Lindholm would be getting points, and then it's a whole thing.
If he's a 115-point player, like, who cares about these other 3 guys? You have a superstar, right? Like Zary's had an amazing 20-game run. I'm a big fan of the player.
But I think the question was more like heating up, like, oh, he's an 80-point player.
He's a 0-point player for December. So that's an if I can't really get into. Yeah, if the guy that isn't playing well and hasn't played well in 100 games in Calgary becomes a guy that plays well regularly, yeah, it's probably a playoff team. How can he be already willing to say that Zary's not a star? How do you know? Sometimes players become I'm not saying he won't be a star. Don't get me wrong here. It's 21 games. It's been really good. And I'm not saying that he can't be a guy that is a franchise pillar at some point. But at this point, he's poor defensively, and he's operating around 3/4 of a point per game. That's not a star in this league. It's a heck of a rookie 21 games. But, like, let's let's not lose sight of like what stars are. Like stars have 100 points, stars score 50 goals, stars raise Stanley Cups, stars set the tone for you across the board. Like he's had a great 21 games. I think he's going to be a very good player in this league.
He could hit 25 goals this year, and you need guys like that.
Yes, and 25 goal guys are not stars. Agree or disagree? Right? I think he will be a
superstars.
25 goals is such a mediocre
and you
total.
Need pillars.
He may be that. He's not right now. He's been very good for a rookie, but that's the disclaimer. I don't want this to be like the widest Pinder hates area. I think he's been awesome. He's been way better than I ever thought.
Is he that bad defensively?
You tell me. I don't think he's great defensively. I think that line's probably been better defensively than.
I mean, it's a +7 rating. I know that's not everything, but
I will. You know what I'll do? I will post the card tonight on my Twitter. I see him making a lot of defensive mistakes. That's probably different than being poor defensively. I don't want to tag him with something, but I get the sense if you put him and Huberdeau and someone else there, he can't drive that line like the way he's helping Kadri and Pospisil right now. Again, I like the player. I think he could be a star. What you're getting right now is not star production from him.
Keeping in mind, he's never played more than 72 games.
This is my whole point, right? Like that. I think he could absolutely be a star. The comment was why do you think he can't be a star? I think he absolutely can be a star. I'm saying he's not a star right now. And maybe that's being too nitpicky on the details, but not yet. If Connor Zary tops out at 3/4 of a point per game, and that's his best year ever, that's not a star. Yeah, there it is. Thanks, Trevor. Boomer's not here. Someone had to. Why does Pinder hate Zary? Love Connor Zary. Thank you, everyone.
Big fan.
What was interesting about that is I remember seeing the draft, and I believe it was being traded back twice in a small band there from like, I want to say like 18 to 22 to 24 to 28 or somewhere in there. Like bum, 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 bum. And I think they just had a group of guys, and it's like, Zary's still there. They still got a few others. Like, we'll keep sliding back and taking more, third or fourth or fifth, whatever it is. And give them credit because there was some injuries early in crucial developmental years that really had some models down on him being able to become a star in the NHL. I know Byron Bader at hockeyprospecting.com is like, these injuries are happening at the wrong time. Never mind that COVID weird year where he came up and played in the American League for a bit and the Western League started and stopped a few times. This kind of production I did not expect to see.
The year that the Rebels lived in the rink.
Yeah, my God. Sleepover parties. Gross. Next, Jack, what do we got? Why does Pinder hate Zary? Where did you get that shirt, Cami? That's from someone who's saying their name is a name that I don't think it is. Good try,
Michael.
Michael.
I frequent secondhand sporting goods stores.
Yeah,
this is like a child's large. It is not great. Actually, the one
1988. There's some
good
cup
names
winners
on there. There's some good names on there and some questionable stains.
Okay. You do wash that though. Those are fake.
Oh yes,
signatures.
absolutely.
Yeah, good.
Absolutely.
Would this team be significantly worse without Lindholm? Ship him out, Connie. I think they would. I know that he's not flashy, but he plays an incredibly important role. I don't know that there's someone else that would play power play, penalty kill, top defensive responsibilities like he can and does. Big minutes, center ice. Who is now a center iceman for this team if you trade him? And are you okay with a 33 and 35-year-old?
Would you lose it if I said Zary?
Well, I mean, sure. When was the last time you played center? Because it wasn't at camp this year and it hasn't been in the NHL and it's not in the A. That's a tough spot to put a kid who's playing really well, right? Like I wouldn't do that to him now. I might send him into the offseason and say, go work on being a center. But they gave him they gave him a come to camp as a winger, haul ass, let's do it. That's different than center. He could. Hanzik could, but I haven't seen it yet. You know, Coronado played a bit of center last year at Harvard. That's very different than playing against
Zary did play center all through junior.
Yeah, no,
so
a lot of them
maybe like send him back down and be like, hey, work on it here a bit, but
he's not going down.
Oh
anymore.
no, he can't. No,
yeah.
My bad.
Well, he could go down. There's no way he is. Like he's a Flame. He's NHL caliber.
But also like keep an eye on Hanzik at World Juniors.
We'll see.
He looks good coming off that injury. And he didn't even
Yeah.
get a full run at World Juniors last year because he got like sliced by a skate.
Yeah, he got injured mid-season. That was interesting at
Yeah.
the juniors.
Mhm.
Okay, more
Canada.
questions that hopefully are not painting me into a corner of hating Connor Zary. Hey guys, is it possible Mark Savard is fired in his first year? I get that you need to give a guy time, but this is historically bad. There's 4 teams worse, so it's very bad.
Do you
Historically,
often
might
see
be too strong.
associates let go mid-season?
I remember the Heat being on a former Ottawa coach that was running it here. I can remember the audio clip, and I'm forgetting his name. I didn't think that was very. Damn it! This is now going to haunt me. I think he ran a power play for Bob Hartley for a bit.
Bob
But-
Erkley.
Oh, this is going to kill me. Comments. Someone here in the comments is going to save me. I need you fellas. Who was it that was running that power play back with Bob that took a bunch of heat? Either way.
Don't try to Google it. You're just going to get DJ Smith stuff.
Yeah, no, it's going to take too long. Either way, I don't think that 30 games is what you want. I think you want to give him a longer leash. And look, who of his star player before the season started? Who are your best offensive players? You'd say, oh, okay, well, it's got to be Huberdeau. It's got to be Lindholm for sure. It's probably Mangiapane. Like, that's not what you're getting from them at all. So I'm not here to make excuses for Mark Savard, but I do think it's premature to fire a guy, especially when it's like lots of people could come help with the power play. If Ryan Huska thinks he's doing it wrong, there is no reason he can't grab a whiteboard and a Sharpie, right?
I'm sorry, just trying to Google back. It's dark, but it's very funny. I just saw that old Frank Seravalli tweet that the Flames literally never practiced the power play last season, and it's still better than what it is this year.
Yeah, I don't know how
Ooh.
much of that I take.
That
to
seems like
heart.
hyperbole, but
Yeah. Either way. Hey guys, if the Flames are hovering in the wild card, are they okay not trading the UFAs, just taking the cap space to leverage next year after losing these? I think
they are
that's
not walking them.
well. I mean, what is it? Could or should? What do they say? If are the Flames okay? I wouldn't be okay with it. That's really
I don't think they
shitty
should
asset
be.
management.
After they're already kind of feeling the heat after some poor asset management over the
Yeah.
last couple of years, even
Johnny
if it's not
walks.
all on Craig Conroy.
Yeah, no, he was not the GM when those decisions. I'm not okay with that. And someone was
Mhm.
trying to spin it as, oh, they see them as their own rentals. It's like, no.
Nope.
You have 2 options when
You look at that as free money.
that's like saying, hey, look, I smashed my piggy bank. Look at this free money I've got. You always had that. That's not new. It's not an addition. I think that's what scares you about this team. If Craig Conroy is the GM and they're 5 points out or 5 points in, somewhere in that band, approaching the deadline, does this organization now justify things that are going to hurt them in the long term but would help them in the short term? Because the way you watched them operate under Brad Treliving, it felt like there was a real impetus to place short-term success ahead of long-term patience and, I guess, prudence. And I think a lot of that is because of the marching orders that the general manager was given from the owner. I think it's a really easy job for Craig Conroy to say we need to get some assets back for these expiring contracts if they're 10, 15, 20 points out. I think it's also really easy to say, hey, we should go get some more pieces to complement these guys if they're like 8 or 9 points in. The real tough GM job is when you're in that mucky bubble area.
Which is kind of exactly where they were last year, just knocking on the door constantly.
Yeah. So I guess to the point of the question asked, it's hard to do, but you can sell and buy at the same time. The Canucks did it last year. They took Bo Horvat, a pending UFA, sent him to the Islanders. The Islanders re-signed him. They took the first rounder they got back, sent it to Detroit, got Filip Hronek. Filip Hronek is under contract with the Canucks. It was a buy for them after they sold. It takes a lot of legwork, but you can do both.
Hronek looks fantastic there.
I would vastly prefer that to, we'll just walk these guys right to nothing. And look at all this cap space we have. Well, what are you going to do? What you got cap space in the summer. You can make some trades, but if you're going to spend on free agents on July 1, like what's the track record on that? It's typically signings you wish you didn't do more often than not. There's very few solid July 1 signings. Chris Tanev's been one for sure. but there's a lot of Troy Browers and other ones in there that have not gone so swimmingly. And not even a Flame specific take. Just every summer, guys get more than they should on July 1 for whatever reason. I see Eric's chirping me in the comments. Thank you, Eric. What else have we got, Jack? Seattle made it to the second round with an inferior team. Why can't this? Well, were they inferior last year? I mean, they were kind of a phantomy. Like
they got
a 40-goal guy. Do you see one here? Jared McCann hit 40 last year. Isn't that wild? Like I'm sorting by goals here. Come on, let me do this.
Like they still had goals the year before when they were like really terrible too, but they did not have an ounce of goaltending.
And they didn't have much last year, Cami, though.
But no, even having like average to below average Grubauer still got them further than what they had the year before.
I'm trying to see where they rank offensively, but they got a lot of goals. They did it by depth, and their goaltending finally got closer to what you'd hope to see. They had more than 30 goals over league average, and they were right about league average against. So I don't see a lot of similarities to this team in Seattle.
And more of a lightning in a bottle situation, like when the Habs last went to the Cup final. Like, I don't think you could say that was the most skilled team.
They were on like an 80-something point pace in a shortened year in a bad Canadian division. It was weird things for sure there. Mm-hmm. Not to discredit
weird things happen in playoffs.
It was not
weird things happen in playoffs. But you cannot, that's not a strategy for long-term success for any team.
Yeah, and just sorry, I jumped in on you before the Seattle one. You said don't do it, you can't do it. Like let guys walk to UFA.
Yes, don't.
Those are mixed messages, but I think we all know what you mean. Okay, Jack, anything else there? Question: if Tanev is offered a contract, what type of term might be expected? Okay, how old is he, and what is he showing us the last few years? He's still an elite defender.
33.
He's 33. You're probably expecting him to miss 15 to 20 games a year if you include the postseason. He's been really durable in Calgary, but even early in his career in Vancouver, he missed a lot of time. I don't expect defensemen that play the way he played to not show signs of aging. Father Time's undefeated for a reason. This is around the age. This is actually after the age that Rhett was completely disappeared and paid to stay away. I would be very leery of term.
He's had 2 seasons in his career where he's played 70 or more games.
That's it. Yep. And that's
53, 42, 55, 69. Nice.
And some of those are nice. Some of those are like COVID shortened or whatever, lockout shortened, but point being, there's a high injury risk that comes along with him. And every time that guy suffers another serious injury, I just think it makes it harder for him to be a really, really effective NHL. I think he still is that. I would love to say, Chris Tanev, come on back on a 1-year deal. He's not going to accept that. He's going to get offered more than that. I would worry for the team that gives him 3 years. And again, maybe it's an AAV game where it's like, hey, we'll give you less money, but we'll give you a 3rd year. Okay, I'm in. Maybe it's the opposite. I'll take a 1-year deal, but we'll juice up the money and then I can get back in the market healthy in theory. I don't know. I think it's 2 years will be a reasonable offer, but that usually isn't what wins on free agent day, does it? Usually is not logical. It's the worst assessment of the market that gets the player, the highest overpay, so to speak. Okay. Dubé, Rosie both struggling. Time to send them down. Risk them being snatched up on waivers. Who's going to play on your 4th line? Because I love Matthew Coronado. I don't want him on the 4th line. Jacob Pelche's not back yet. I think there will be a pinch point there, but
I don't think we're there yet.
Well, and the 4th line hasn't been so like cover your eyes bad, right? It's not where you want those guys playing necessarily, but they had a tough go tonight.
Greer's been good.
Yeah, they're
not mad at Greer.
But it does make you think about what would
they would both get claimed. They would both get claimed.
Who's got $2.3 million for Dylan Dubé?
That's true.
Maybe. I mean, I think the player is of the caliber in Dubé that a team would love to take him, but there are a lot of teams that don't even have that much cap space right now. Like the types of teams that It's absolutely possible he could get claimed. I'm just not certain based on the salary, right?
God, I wish I could sort all the teams by available cap space.
There's some teams that have it, but
yeah.
I think a better, more logical ending to this for Dylan Dubé is like, what if a team moved out someone of theirs who's just not having a great year for Dubé and gave a pick to the Flames? What would that look like? Because he reeks of a change of scenery candidate right now. I said it a week ago. It feels like Sam Bennett light all over again.
I saw someone ask where the best pizza was in Calgary. It's Nick's, and I won't hear any other answer.
Okay. We don't have a pizza sponsor on Afterburner at this point, so I will allow you to do that. Eric's being nice for both of us. Hey, there's lots of good pizza in the city. It depends what kind of pizza you like. I will say this. Our boys up at Mad Rose, a lot of hype. Finally get up there. Yeah, lived up to the hype. Phenomenal.
Very nice. Haven't checked that out. I'll go.
Northwest Auto Mall's up there. You got Bonton up there. Mad Rose. It's part of that. You got a magnetic pull towards the Northwest on these programs.
Zaw Club in the South is really good too.
There's lots of good pizza in the city. It's where are you? And what do you want? Some deep dish? You want thin? What are you doing? It's I got one kid that's gluten free. That's a huge pain in my ass. But all of a sudden, I need to know who's got good GF dough if I'm going for pizza.
Panago.
Is that it?
I don't know. I used to work at a Panago, and the gluten free pizza was actually pretty good. My mom's gluten free.
Good to know. Charm Diamond Centers, proudly Canadian owned and operated since 1972, with more than 85 locations across the country through Charm and their sister brands. Get custom ring building and in less than 4 weeks. How about that? With the Charm Masterpiece program and an unbeatable pricing policy. Holidays are here. It's the perfect time to check out a large selection of Canadian lab-grown diamonds, mined diamonds, and don't pay until 2025 with their instant in-store financing OAC. For more information, go to charmdiamondcenters.com.
All right, gang, listen up. It's time to learn the pro pose. Coach?
Bend and snap.
Beautiful form. Nice arm extension. Facial expression, I could use some work. All right, let's see it. The pro pose. What's that guy doing?
I think that's the bend and snap.
That's a whole different deal. Charm, home of the pro pose. Oh!
All right, there it is for Charm. A few more questions. Here we go. Zeri is +6. Possible is +6. Kadri is -10 when he got on with the two kids, and he's now -6. Pinder's lost on guys who keep the puck out of the net. Coronado was -9, not exactly a benefit. Not going to argue +- with you, Solomon. Not going to do it. That line's been great. I've said they've been great. I repeat that that's been their best line. That is their number one line. That doesn't mean that Connor Zeri is a fully formed and polished defensive player at this point. There's still gaffes out there. And again, I feel like I'm trying to build a case that he's not a good player. I think he's a really good player. He's just not a star yet. Is he on his way? Let's hope so. Why do I come across like I'm hating Zeri? I'm going to have to go pull a card from JFresh and see what the...
My friend got a next-gen Zeri poster from the game. I'll bring it for you. You can hang it behind you.
Yeah, I got 2 in my kids' rooms already. Don't worry.
Do you throw darts at them when you get home?
Oh, please. No, you're on me. Jeez.
I'm kidding. I'm
going to see if I can pull it up right now. Okay, this is a 2023-24 card.
While you're looking
it's going to be tough to do on the fly. This takes a while.
Dylan Playfair in that commercial. Papa Playfair is headed to the Spengler.
Is that right?
Yes, sir. He's going to be an assistant coach there this year.
And head coach, I believe, Bruce Boudreau. Is that right?
Oui.
Yes, very good. Spengler would be fun. That's one that we need.
I've always wanted to go. I've gone to Worlds in Prague before, but I've never been to Spengler.
Okay. So I have the, I'm going to pull this up. This is defense. I got to go a forward card. No, again, small samples all over.
Coaching debut.
Really?
Yeah.
He's never coached.
That's strange
at any level. That's baffling to me.
Yeah.
Come on. I'm working on the Zeri card. Is there another question, Jack, that Cami can read while I find the Zeri card and fully fall on the sword on this argument?
Question: with Markstrom finding his form again, do we trade him or Vladar?
I think those are two very different deals. I don't think it's like, we'll do this one or that one. One's a lot of work and an awkward conversation, and there's 2.5 years left, and there's salary retention questions.
It's a good question, but I feel like we answer it every time, and I'm running out of ways to answer it in a intelligent manner.
Okay, so I'm going to completely.
I actually don't know what you're looking for right now.
Connor Zary actually adding more value defensively than he is offensively for the Calgary Flames this year. How about that? Pinder can take the L on that one. Sorry, my friends. Very good player. Let's hope he's a star. Please be a star. L.
Squared weenie. Do you know what that's from?
Don't need to.
The Sandlot.
Oh, that's a good movie.
It's a great
Kids saw
movie.
that one. They're at that age now. We've gone well over an hour, and I've completely put my face in manure. Almost time to wrap this program. Final few questions, Jack.
Deej.
Oh, look at this. We teased it on the Barn Burner today. How about this?
Tempo WHL Player of the Week.
We saw that his brother Joe scored his first WHL goal on the weekend. And
Got his first point in his first game, too. He got an assist.
So not bad for a 15-year-old. But how about his brother? Well, not bad either. Where do we see Tej going in the draft? Is this, I know the start of the year was like, maybe the second round, but he's had a great start. Has he got himself into the first round without a doubt conversation?
I don't know. I think he's improved his situation for
Yes.
sure. Like the one thing that that the points don't really say when you look at this graphic, in a 4-game week, they won 3 of those games, and he was in on every single game-winning goal, and one of them came in a tie game with 20 seconds left. And he ran the whole play. He's been great. So he started the season as a B prospect for the Central Scouting Service, which is like a second, third round pick. Those evaluations change for CSS like every day.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been on a heater. So we don't know when the next update is coming, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does manage
mid-season
to.
stuff would be soon. And I wouldn't be surprised at all. And now here's all the comments. Flames got to get him. Oh my gosh, it would kill me if someone else got him. And the Flames have to get him. If they don't draft him, I'll die. You have one selection in the first round at this point, and he may or may not be available. And there may or may not be other players that are more highly rated available when you pick. The story would haul ass for Tej Ginla to be a Calgary Flame. What this organization needs is the best player available to be playing for the Calgary Flames. If you were to pass someone who you think will be better to go get a Ginla, that would be some bad process. But God, if he was the best and he was available, how much fun are we having?
It would be very fun, but also on the Ginla side, I wonder if Jerome. Jerome. Well, I'm just saying like Jerome and not like not the kid. What if Jerome wants him to go have the ability to be his own player and build his own legacy elsewhere?
I mean, Jerome probably wants to draft the best player available. So if that's his kid, he wants to win.
He's a competitive guy. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. Like, I understand. I swear, like sentiment. He would be the guy who's like would tell his kid, he's like, "Sorry, I got to take someone better." If someone would do that, it would be Jerome.
Yeah. Well, and the Hitman did in the last Bantam draft, so we'll see. That's much less of a fine art than even the crapshoot NHL draft. So we'll see. That should probably do it on this Afterburner. I've sufficiently said a lot of things and been wrong on a fair amount of it. Cami, how did yours go?
Saw some things I didn't want to see in the comments. Damn.
I saw someone got punted. What happened there?
Oh, a couple punts.
Really?
Punts, yeah.
Okay. Well, as long as Jack's on top of that.
He is. Stick taps to Jack.
Stick taps to Jack. Good boy. Okay.
I did want to say, though, I was super nervous about doing this podcast in general because the first Afterburner I did was with Danny Austin, and legit, like 5 minutes in, there was a comment that literally just said, "Show us your tits." And I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. But since then, like, I have to say, everyone has been really cool, really welcoming. And I really appreciate that. It's made this a lot less stressful and more fun. So thanks, gang.
That's yes. And you know what? Let's behave like it's not the internet. I know that's hard for people. If we could just interact like we do in real life, I feel like most of society, when they're dealing with other people, are actually nice to other people.
Let's be pals.
Not hiding between weird names like Michael was earlier today in the comments.
Watch as that's his actual name. And
Poor
he's
bastard.
Just going through it.
Then now we're just making fun of him for his name. Now we're the bad guys. Yes. Thank you for being better people in real life than you are on the internet, and let's try to be better on the internet. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Give online therapy a try at betterhelp.com/FlamesNation and get on your way to being your best self. Nice to be in a time where, as guys, we can more openly talk about therapy, getting help, trying to be better, mental health issues. I don't think that when many of us were younger, we even knew what therapy was. And why is therapy important? Well, I mean, look, if you're not happy, you deserve to be happy. If you've got challenges in your life that you don't know how to solve, that maybe are costing you sleep or lots of stress, those are things we should probably build some solutions to do. And that's exactly what therapy is all about. It's about identifying what challenges are, where you want to get, not just where you want to get help, but your therapist, they can be the ones that give you these techniques to deal with some of the challenges you're facing. Start building strategies, coping skills, be the best version of yourself. How does BetterHelp work? Well, it's entirely online, which means you don't have to waste your time driving around the city, or maybe you don't live in a city. It also means that your schedule is what things are going to be based around, not somebody else's. Hey, I've got this window of time open. Here's when I want to do things. Here's where I want to be when I do it. There's a comfortable place in my house I want to do this, not in some foreign office building that I'd never been to before. And you're going to do a questionnaire that pairs you up with a therapist that's got strength and expertise in the challenges or issues you are facing. Therapy can help you identify, again, challenges, but also more importantly, solutions. And you might be able to see the challenges coming, so you're ready for them. Make your brain your friend with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/FlamesNation today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/FlamesNation.
Flames win.
Pinder loses. It's Afterburner.
It's a good day.
Good night.